Hello and welcome to Carlos and Lisa. I'm Lisa Remillard.
And I'm Carlos Amezcua. It's nice to have you with us. Wildfires are a reality, a very real reality in California. And if you're thinking we're seeing more and more of them, and they're lasting longer and becoming more deadly, you're absolutely right.
There's some new research out that found that climate change is actually affecting the length and severity of our wildfires. In fact, the study says that California wildfires, believe it or not, are 8 times larger today than they were in the 70s, and the burn area has grown by nearly 500%.
Look at this. The state spent over $1.5 billion more than any previous 2-year period. This is according to the California Department of Forestry and Fire Protection. It says 13 of the 20 largest fires occurred during the summer, but one happened in the last 5 decades. So this is just showing you something's changed. Something's happened. This word that I saw here, anthropogenic climate change, which means we're causing it.
Well,
that people are affecting the climate so much so that we have these crazy wildfires.
Well, and look, it's a reality for us. We have to be prepared. So we want to be able to give you all of the information. But we wanted to ask the experts. So we brought in Dr. Tony Wexler from UC Davis. He is here to talk about these new studies and how it's going to affect us. Hi, good morning, Tony.
Hi, good morning.
So let's talk about this. I mean, why and how is the climate and the change in the climate, how does that affect the wildfires?
So there's a few things that are going on here. One is that we're getting higher winds and the stronger winds are lasting longer. So these have happened before in California. In Santa Ana, they're called Santa Anas in Southern California, and different parts of California have different names for them. But generally, we're talking about high winds that with very dry conditions, which of course then you dry out the plants and the other vegetative material, and then something sparks and off you go.
But how is that different than it used to be? I mean, is it the climate? Is there something that we are doing that's causing this?
This is all part of the climate change bucket. We're putting carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gases into the atmosphere. That's causing all kinds of changes in weather patterns. And one of the changes is that we're seeing are these higher winds and more dry conditions during the high winds, and that's leading to these wildfires. And not only is it causing the wildfires, but it persists, right? These winds can just keep going and going for quite a long period of time, and then it's nearly impossible for the firefighters to control these when the winds are so high.
Tony, is there anything we can do? I mean, or is this? I was reading that. I mean, climate change is a worldwide. It's a worldwide issue. It's not just specific to California. So it's not like if Californians did X, that would change everything. Correct? So there's not really much we can do, or is there something we can do?
California leads the world in so many things. I mean, right now, obviously, we have a federal administration that's not really on board with climate problems. But a lot of states and a lot of other countries want to what California does, and California leads in these things. So what we are doing here in the state to mitigate our greenhouse gas emissions and other climate-causing activities is great, because other parts of the world are looking at that and taking that as a lead and adopting some of the same policies and regulations that we do in order to put a lid on the climate problem. So as individuals, it's very hard to know what to do, but as a state, I think I think we're really leading the world in this.
I have one more little nugget, and that's part of another study about the climate change and the wildfires themselves. Let's talk a little bit, just before we let you go, about the smoke that is produced from these extended wildfires that continue to grow bigger and last for longer. What is that doing to the air quality?
Well, it's not good for the air quality.
Yeah, obviously.
Sometimes you get fires that are hot and they break through the inversion. So, in Los Angeles and other parts of California, we have inversions. And so that traps the air pollution close to the ground, which causes some of the air pollution problems that we experience in the state, especially in the Los Angeles area and in the San Joaquin Valley. Some wildfires can break through the inversion, and that has to do, that's a combination of the inversion not being too strong and the wildfire being hot. Okay, what we've seen in the Santa Rosa wildfire that happened a couple years ago and in the Camp Fire from last year is that the inversion was so strong that the wildfire wasn't able to break through, and so it trapped all of the smoke from the wildfire close to the ground, which is, this kind of inversion is the same kind of thing that we see, in Los Angeles and the San Joaquin Valley, but often with wildfires, it breaks through, and so the smoke goes up into the free troposphere and blows away, and so we don't have to breathe it. And so,
well, Doctor,
there's another problem here that's kind of confounded by this strong inversions,
right,
trapping the smoke close to the surface.
Well, Dr. Wexler, we appreciate your expertise and thank you for joining us here on Carlos and Lisa. We'll see how this all plays out. I know the governor has been making some movements in Sacramento to try to address these issues and talk about them with all the population to see if there's anything we can or can't do with this situation.
All right, we're going to take a break and we'll be right back.